There was a guy, came in from Europe, and he didn't speak a word of English. This guy, he tried to get as jobs, but he didn't speak a word of English. How is he going to, get a job? So he decided, this is post-World War II, he decided that he's going to go and he's going to try to work in, in Jewish companies. But he had no skill. So the Jewish company they wouldn't even hire them. Until finally, he says, let me go and I'll be a shamish. I'll be the guy in shul that cleans up after everybody. I'll be the guy the janitor that goes and helps, whatever they need to, for the shul. So he goes and he meets in a certain shul, and he was speaking Yiddish. That's what most Jews were speaking. And they were about to hire him. He says everything looked good. And then they asked him in Yiddish, says, do you speak English? And the guy says, no, I don't speak English, but what do I need the English for? He says, I'm cleaning. And the shul, or the synagogue, better yet, they were like, I don't think this is going to work. We need somebody that speaks English. And the guy was like, what? Why do I need to speak English? He says, I'm literally just sweeping the floors. I'm cleaning. I'm not even interacting with people. He says, no. The synagogue, the board said, sometimes people are going to come in and they're going to need to ask questions. We need somebody that speaks English. And he couldn't even get the job of being a janitor in a synagogue, in a shul. But he needed to provide, he needed to make some money. So he goes and he decides that he's going to borrow some money from his friend, and he's going to start a push cart. He's going to buy some products in a certain store, and he's going to go door to door. This is before there was an internet, obviously. And he'd go door to door and try to sell some product. So he decided he's going to get into the household business, the houseware, and he bought some houseware products. He put it in his push cart, and he went door to door. And he was quite successful. He couldn't even figure out the words in English. He was showing them, $5, this, $10, or back then it was like $1, $2. And he was quite successful to the point that he was able to buy 2 push carts. And he was able to even hire somebody else to go door to door. To make a long story short, he was very successful with his 2 push carts. He ended up being into 5 push carts, to the point that he decided that he's going to close his push cart business and he's going to instead open up a storefront. He had money for a storefront. So he opened up a storefront, and same houseware items that people were coming in, he was doing business, it was going great. Within a short period of time, he opened up another store. And within another short period of time, he opened up another store. Within a relatively few years, he was a very, very large corporation. And he was a successful businessman, became very, very wealthy. Many years go by, he's running his business, and he decides that he came across this business opportunity where he will join, partnership with another very large corporation. And he reviewed all the information and he decided he's going to go through with it. He's going to do this joint venture, and they're going to go together with this other company. And they go and they meet in this, skyscraper in Manhattan with the top-notch lawyers. And they're sitting over there, his future business partner with his lawyer, and and him himself with his lawyer, and they're going over the documents, and they're about to finalize it. And now they have to go and they just have to sign the documents. So his future business partner, the 2 corporations that are merging together, they go and the lawyer presents him the documents, and now he has to sign where the X is. So this businessman is taking it and he starts signing wherever he sees X, and he starts pulling out the papers and signing where there's X. And his other businessman stops him and he says, no. He says, I don't want you just to sign the paperwork. He says, I want you to read it. We're going to wait over here as long as it takes. I want you to read everything to make sure that you're able to go and you agree with everything that's written. So this from Jewish businessman starts smiling, and he says, don't worry about it. I'm just going to sign. And the guy goes to him and his future business partner. He says, no. I refuse to go and continue until I know that you read it. I want everything to be straight, everything to be clear on the table. So finally, the Jewish businessman goes over to his future partner and he says to him, he starts smiling to him and he says, listen, he says, I would love to read. I would love to read this whole thing, but there's a problem. And the guy says, what's the problem? He says, don't worry, as long as it takes you. And the Jewish businessman says, no, it's not a problem. He says, the problem is? The problem is I don't know how to read. And the guy, this future bit, literally almost fell off his chair. He says, what? You don't know how to read? He says, you're a multi-millionaire. You have numerous businesses under you. He says, you have thousands of employees. What do you mean you don't know how to read? And the guy says, I don't know how to read. And the guy says, what's going, like, how do you not know how to read? And the guy says, I don't know what you're so shocked at. I just don't know how to read. That's it, you know? So the guy was shocked. And the guy, his future business partner, says, do you understand? He says, you made so much money and you still don't know how to read. Do you know that if you knew how to read, do you know how much money you would make now? So this Jewish businessman goes over to him and says, you want to know what would happen if I knew how to read? And I'll tell you even better. If I knew how to speak English properly, it was speaking, even his English was broken. He says, if I knew how to read, and I knew how to write, and I knew how to speak English properly, you know where I would be today? And the guy is thinking he could probably be a multi-billionaire by today. And the Jewish guy says, you know where I'm going to be? What I'll be? I would be, if I know how to read, and I know how to write, and I know how to speak English properly, I would be cleaning synagogues. That's where I would be. He says, because, and he goes and tells them all the story, because I couldn't get a job, because I couldn't go and I couldn't, even be a janitor. I wasn't even on the level to be a janitor that I am where I am today. So many times we go and we realize and we think, how we got where we got to because of all our success. We never even realize that our biggest failure could be the biggest reason of our success. Our biggest downfall could be our biggest windfall.